Right. Good morning. Let's see. So yesterday, stopped the stream because I was reflecting on promises, and realized that, of course, let's see, a signal. So what I'm writing here, when a signal consumes a promise, the browser will not throw an unhandled promise rejection if it fails. The reason is that you might handle the rejection declaratively in a component. The promise does stay rejected though, and if you use the wait keyword on it, it will throw. It is still just a promise. So the point is that JavaScript has this behavior where when a promise is rejected and there's no catch for that promise anywhere, like either with the await or just catch, it will throw this unhandled promise rejection as kind of a helper thing. But in this context of like the reason you put a promise into a signal is because you want to consume it in a component. So it doesn't make sense to have this unhandled promise rejection because the signal has consumed that rejection and updated the status of the promise. But then you can argue, well, if a component doesn't consume the promise, isn't it then unhandled? But that's more technical than practical. Practically, it has been handled, and we don't want that unhandled promise rejection to show. But the promise should, of course, stay rejected. So the way this is handled is very simple. So when we create, so here is the logic where we create observable promise, and then we just add a catch to it. So the return promise has this catch which throws the rejected promise after it's updated the status, but then we just add a catch handler to it, which doesn't do anything, but the browser won't say that it's unhandled anymore. But you will consume this observable promise, right? You won't consume this catch. And with a comment there. So I'm confident that's how it should work. So that's nice. That's fixed. But then we have this other thing where let's see, am I running? Yeah, yarn dev, localhost. No. Yarn dev. Then we have this other thing where let's look at it at an example. So we have this counter store, and oh, come on. And when, let's see, where are we using it? Okay, so when test2 is run the first time, this test2 function is run the first time, it will use counter and resolve the store. And in React's world, we are now in like rendering component mode. So when we synchronously resolve and initialize this store, this function scope is also still in React render component mode. So you could technically use a React hook here and it wouldn't throw an error. But the next time this thing reconciles, it would throw an error because then it doesn't run that hook again, right? So we can try this now just to see what happens. Blah. Use state false. So as you can see, nothing happened now with the store. Oh, doesn't it throw? It should be like a hook. Let's see. Let's clean up the example. Let's see. There we go. React has detected a change in order of hooks called by test22. Test22? Yeah, whatever. So that's what happens. So as you saw, it rendered fine, but as soon as it reconciled again, it throws this error. And I'm not sure if we should just document this. Or we should actually, because it is possible to reach into React internals during the development, and we can actually detect if you use any of the hooks. But I'm not sure if it's necessary. I think we should start by documenting it. So let's see. Yeah, we should be, this is part of the one. You can suspend Storm. You cannot, the reason is that the render might not be considered, rather disposed. The created store provider will throw an error if the scenario happens. Might not be. Let's see. If a nested component uses the use hook, make sure to put a suspense also as a nested component of the store provider. The creator will throw an error if the scenario happens. If you forget. And then number 2, do not use React hooks within the stores. Technically, I don't like having these caveats, but we have to have them. Technically, when a store initializes, it is still in. It is still in React's render mode, but when the component reconciles, you will with the useStore reconciles, you will get hooks out of order error from React. Okay, let's see how this looks. Yarn docs dev. Let's see. API reference. Create store provider. I'm gonna put that warning below, I think. No, it's kind of important, so let's put it above. Scope, store to componentry. This allows for passing props to store and clean up when the related componentry and mounts. You cannot suspend store providers. The reason is that during suspense, the rendered components might not be committed to the DOM and rather be disposed. This isn't a full explanation. Should I explain why? You cannot suspend. Okay, let's, if a nested uses the use hook. Make sure to put a suspense also as a nested component of the story. We'll throw an error. If you forget. The reason for this is a lack of programmatic access to React's disposal behavior of non-committed component trees. Lack of, I can just put lack of that's fine. If a nested component uses the use hook, make sure to put a suspense also as a nested component of the store provider. The created store provider will throw an error if you forget. The reason for this is lack of programmatic access to React's disposal behavior of non-committed component trees. Do not use React hooks within the store, within the stores. Technically, when a store initializes, it is still in React's render mode, but when the component with the use store reconciles, you will get a hooks out of order error from React. Currently, there is no warning about this, but we are evaluating if there really is a need. Yeah. From impact about this, but we're evaluating that really is a need. Okay. Cool. And then the last thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go on Code Sandbox. We're gonna create. I really like this new model. Let's see. Do we have Next.js? Create the box. So Impact isn't built for server-side rendering. It doesn't really make sense. But you might use something like Next. And if so, like even though it doesn't make sense, it could still like execute on the server if you really want to. Or with Next, it's kind of, is it running client? Is it running server? So I made one fix where if there's no window in the environment, it won't create an observer context in the components. Because then it won't run the usync external store hook. And that doesn't make, there was some issues with Next and running usync external store hook. So yeah. Anyways, I'm gonna, is this the download button? Yeah, download. So we're gonna change our, is it like, what was the shortcut for? Wait, what happened? Is that, no, wait. What the hell? Isn't there like a shortcut to show hidden files? There we go. Okay, I'll just copy all of this and then we're gonna update this example here. And this uses, okay, should it just be able to use Impact? Okay, fine. So we're just gonna remove this and then we're gonna try to use Let's see. Paste. Nice. Okay. So dev pm install. No, we're not going to use pm here. Because I'm using Yarn workspaces. So I wonder if I do Yarn install here. I think it resolves, since this is a workspace, it will also install everything there, I think. Let's see. Let's see. Yes, it does. So I guess we can do yarn dev. And this is localhost 3000 or... Oh no, 3001 since I was running. There we go. Okay. So let's see what this experience is like. Let's just go in and app, page. Yeah, let's just go in and create like a counter or something. Counters, and let's just make it global for now. Counter star. Yeah, this needs a return. Let's give it a signal of account. Let's increase that count. Okay, and then let's return. And click increase. And then on this page, we're gonna add. That's interesting. Oh, I think it's because I'm using React 19 here. But it did run, so yeah, whatever. Get next. Pivercell, I guess. Counter. Oh, that's weird. Yeah, it's just the typing. I don't care. You're importing a, oh, interesting. You're importing a class component. It only works in a client component, but none of its parents are marked with use client. Interesting. Yeah, in a client. Okay, but this is fine, right? Because as I said, it's not built for server side, so that's perfectly fine. What happens if I make this use client? Does that help? There was an error while hydrating. So does that mean... Okay, so let's now try to... can I say this is use client? Use client? What happens now? Interesting. because the error happened outside. Oh, interesting. Out of date. That's cool. Thinking. Thinking. So, why did it say that? But is this actually a client component now? Okay, I'm going to test something just so I understand this thing. App tsx use client export function app return counter. We're really going to do app here because it said parent, right? So it was kind of weird. Yeah, no, it's still interesting. I have a feeling this is the suspense boundary we add to this. No, wait, we don't have a suspense boundary. Because we're not using the store provider. But can I see the actual error here? Oh, missing. Okay. But this is the thing I don't understand. Like, missing get server snapshot. How is that possible? It's rendering on. Like, it's running on the server. Like, next is. No, I shouldn't say next. This whole paradigm of trying to make React this like thing running between the server and the client, to me, with the experience I have with the kinds of applications I build, it's like complete madness to me. But I haven't built the kinds of applications that this approach is like designed for. So I'm like, I shouldn't even say anything, but it's just having like use client, and then one component is on the server and then the next component is on the client, but then you have server components again? Or can you, if you first say use client, does all the children need to be client? And then all these like server actions and all these new hooks, like it's insanely confusing compared to just like doing API, like REST requests. I find it exceptionally convoluted, and like the mental concepts you have to apply on top of simply passing a form to your server. It's, yeah, as I said, to me, it looks like complete madness, but there must be, I do have trust that there's a lot of smart people iterating on this. Yeah. Yeah. It's like my intuition tells me that React is just taking on too much. It shouldn't, like, I wish React was just about UI. Like them introducing the style component and style hoisting and script hoisting in React 19, that is responsibility. Like that's a really massive improvement. Because that means that you build on the UI capabilities. Like you can actually have CSS as part of your components, kind of like inline CSS. But when it comes to like one thing is server render components, like render to string, hydrating, all of that stuff. That makes a lot of sense. But it breaks down for me when it comes to these actions. I don't understand why that's React's responsibility. Yeah. Okay, get server snapshot, which... Okay, so the thing I don't understand is that why is this even... Which is required for server rendered content. But how... Why does it say that it's server rendered? I'm using client. I find that very, very curious. But we can do, like, that's fine. We can do context snapshot here as well. Like, I used to have that. But I don't understand why it's... What happened? Did I click something? Oh. Okay. So now it doesn't show that error. But this increase isn't running. So there's like nothing happening. Why doesn't anything... Oh, is it behind something? Oh, for fuck's sake. Let's see. Okay, so let's drop this app thing. That didn't do anything. So yeah, I think it was just the button is just behind the image or something. Let's put it somewhere where it doesn't... Oh, counter. Oh, come on. Okay, but at least, yeah, okay. Sorry. So it was just behind the thingy. Okay, but then I think we're good. What if I remove the use client now? What happens then? Yeah, but then you get this, you're importing a class component, it only works in... Yeah, so somehow, I guess like React is like rehydrating. When you say you... I don't really understand this. When you say use client, I don't understand. Yeah, I just don't understand Next. It's a very complicated piece of software. But that's fine. We're gonna update. Let's see. We're gonna say use client here. And we should probably let's see, impact React. Let's bump that, and then we're gonna comment why we need even though impact is not designed to run on the server, we still give this callback as, for example, Next.js requires it to be there even when rendering on client only components. Okay. And then we should where should we put that? Where should we put that? That it's not. Where will we write that? I guess it should be part of learn. Yeah, I think we should just put it in learn and on store. And then we'll put like a warning here. Impact is not designed for server-side rendering. Using frameworks like Next.js. It's not designed for server-side rendering. You can use it with server-side rendering frameworks like Next.js, but only with but only using client-side rendered components. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's fine for now. We can evaluate. So impact, React, yarn build. npm publish. Let's see, I need my Authy. 193, 196. Okay, and then git status, git add test next, fix, sync external, store, and update docs. Okay, cool. And then we're gonna answer. I've been having this conversation with someone. A long conversation. So I just ran Next.js and made a small adjustment in a newly published version. So now also updated docs about server-side rendering. You should now be able to safely use client in Next. The warnings implementation is a bit intrusive and need to handle pre-React 19 differently than. So have only updated docs about this for now. If someone else also hits this issue, I'll reconsider. consider adding warnings for sure. Cool. Nice. I guess that's it. Let's look at our little project here where we played around with this rejected thing. Was this yarn? I can never remember. Impact React latest. Should really update or change the oh. Well, where did we do it? Was it here? Yeah. So now it's working just fine. But it's like an ugly thing, so we're not actually gonna have it there. So we're gonna do this, but it was just to show how it can be done. I really wanna get this. Let's remove this. Rejected. Did I comment out the thing? Let's just bring back the. Yeah. Yup. Oh, did I? Oops. I think I want to just merge this into main and then have my partner yell at me because I broke the app again. And then we can I can like make a list and we can go in and fix it and I want to do like a final review before I add it to the Impact website. But yeah, I think that's it. Then we have really good documentation. We gotten a lot of feedback. People are building apps with this. We have the presentation. We have the technical deep dive. We have slides. So one thing I want to do when React 19 is actually officially released is to do like a video on async patterns with React 19. That's the final thing. That's something, but I think that will be like part of when Impact is officially released, it will be released with the React 19 release. So kind of piggybacking on that release, kind of stating that it's a state management library built on with support for new features in React 19. Where you can still like reference the presentation and the technical deep dive, but we'll also have this specific thing about the signals and the promises, because that's kind of one thing is having these nested stores. That's kind of just solving a core problem, but having that also enables you to take advantage of these new asynchronous patterns in React, which are super powerful. So yeah, I think that's what we're gonna do, and then we're gonna release it. Exciting. Okay, I'm gonna stop the stream. I probably won't stream anymore today. But yeah, thanks for following along, and